So here we are, the LightBody embodiment process, and we're having another very unique experience while munching on and enjoying a delicious Kauai avocado. A fresh Kauai lime picked from the tree and beautiful salt from the island. A little bit of avocado oil. And continuing on the LightBody integration. And the experience is, again, very unique. One of the pieces that I am experiencing, we are experiencing in we cells, and the wholeness of the experience, the integration of the experience, the integration of every aspect of the self into the LightBody process is we are reviewing certain scenes in the play that are just coming to awareness. We have been invited to do a house and a dog sit. And what was interesting to the cells is that the exact location of the house sit is a place that when we were at the beach one miracle coordinate day walking by this house, we tuned into the house and the people in the driveway, and it was very quantum. It was just a quantum moment, a quantum calibration, and there was a very quantum make note, not a make note from the mind. It was a quantum experience. And then we were walking to the beach and we were having a chat on a call, a video call, and it was all simultaneous, and they were all of this was running simultaneous, and it was different levels or different aspects, different vibrations of the quantum occurring simultaneous. And so what we are beginning to see now as we are bridging energetically into this higher octave of our LightBody birthright, our interdimensional state of awareness, we are seeing how the hologram is layered with different aspects of the self, different reflections, different vibrations that were playing out simultaneous. And when everything was playing out simultaneous, we may not have had the awareness of all of these individual things playing out as unique and sovereign experiences simultaneous. And so it just maybe felt like fuzziness going on, or that expression of not being fully awake. So like kind of maybe even sometimes experiencing chaotic energies in the field. And it was because all of these different quantum layers were overlaid. And so as the consciousness comes into the center of its own LightBody navigation, it begins to see each thing. This is taking me back to the brain map we had in 2014 when we walked out of time and space. We are beginning to see the field of infinite potential, and each potential just has a different expression or a different face, or a different, it's like the cover of a book. All the different potentials have different covers of books. And so in the quantum, when we slow everything down to zero and we are in the LightBody inside the cells, one unified field of consciousness, we can actually reach out and touch a specific potential with our quantum hand and activate it and go into it and experience it to know what is there. And so we are seeing in the LightBody perspective, we are coming back to that experience of the infinite Rolodex of possibilities lined up in front of us. And it's kind of like we often referred to the movie of Robin Williams.
Where Dreams May Come?
Yes, that's the one, Where Dreams May Come, which did a fantastic job at the time of creating the holographic sort of feel of reality, and how all these holographic overlays are playing, or not really playing, they're just existent simultaneously. So inside of the LightBody, we are in a different field of consciousness, and this is where we can reach out and choose gently with the touch of our hand on a quantum book cover to experience inside of the self. And we can just reach out and touch it to actually have the full body experience in the physical through the quantum shift in our consciousness moving into the LightBody perspective or place. Very powerful. And then we were having a yummy munch of of our avocado, and we began to experience also a new place inside of the physical body. It was like all of the layers of the Corpus Christi were around me, and at the center was like pure blue sky, and the layers of the Corpus Christi were just following the shape or the outline of the body. Outlining the shape of our physical body, and this blue sky was at the center inside. So there's 7 layers to the human body, but we would like to say there's 9. 9 centered awareness, 9 Ark Merkaba, which goes beyond the monad and into full source embodied creation. So if we just pictured ourselves sitting in lotus with these 7 or 9 layers around us, we would say what we are being shown is the rainbow light body. And in full transfiguration of the selves, this we languaging again, which brings everything inside of the body together in a unified field. Unity. And grace is where the ascension sequence is hidden. Not so much hidden, but it exists inside of the genes. A mechanistic process, ascension. We've always said it's very mechanical. So there's an initiatic sequence. And yes, we can take quantum leaps. So we are having this experience and this visual, and what is at the center of these 9 layers of the form that we are being shown. It's like just this blue sky. It's kind of like looking into a keyhole. looking through the keyhole, as if we were looking through a keyhole into the blue sky, and the shape of the old-fashioned keyhole is kind of like a person sitting in lotus, and that's kind of what we're being shown inside. So the consciousness has the capacity to go all the way through the keyhole and beyond. That would be the 9 arc, Merkaba, beyond the 7 layers of the Corpus Christi form, back into the cosmic sea of potential. So it's very cool to have the experience of sitting in the center of the light body and then reaching out the hand to touch the cover on a book, to touch the cover on a human potential. Just when we're inside the light body, we can actually feel that we are reaching out and just lightly tapping that potential. From the place of the cosmic heart and the power for it to manifest when we reach out from the light body in the form is our creatorship. And it is from a place of what we call purity and neutral. There's a higher intelligence in the form that is creating, that is choosing and creating the potential, the path before us, and the power of the light body and form. And this is what we learned when we had a very profound experience during meditation while being brain mapped in 2001 for Day Out of Time. What we realized when we say that we went outside the computer and we were shown how the computer operates, we could see that in the lower form, the piece that we had forgotten was that a causal piece of, or the piece of the lag time in time, that from the time that we made a choice to the time that the choice came to us, there was time in between. And so experiencing what felt like highs or experiencing what felt like lows, we were choosing them all. We were ping-ponging back and forth because, and this is why what felt like, things we wanted to create wasn't stabilizing, because we were creating it from a denser form. So we were always catching up to the dream. And by time we were experiencing the dream, there was more dream seeds laid out before, and we were already being pulled on to the next and the next and the next. So that linear time, hunger, consciousness, expectation, all those pieces are what allowed us to experience the moment rather than the miracle. The moment meaning that it lasted for a moment and then it was gone. And that's why, because we still weren't residing in the perspective of the light body in the quantum. And so we were experiencing our experiences, we were experiencing our seeds, we were experiencing our dreams inside of a continuum that involved time, space-time. Well, time, space, I don't know. Science says them two ways, but to me the pretty much same. So we were planting the seeds in the quantum, and we were experiencing them in time. And as we experienced them in time, the experiences gave us the lessons and the teachings to bring ourselves to neutral polarity, back to neutral, back to zero. So those dreams that we were creating were giving us the opportunity to dissolve our relationship with time and gravity and the time-space continuum, to bring fully in the light body, the solar logos, into the form. And so now when we sit inside of the light body, we begin to experience that the light body consciousness in the form operates in a very different way, from a different perspective of consciousness. And the mechanics are completely unique to how we created before. And it's very pleasant and it's very blissful to just reach out and touch the book cover of a potential. And just by reaching out and touching it, we actually get the experience of it instantaneously. So it's very blissful just to sit in the light body and experience what was always present inside of us. And this is the transition that we make from the carbon-based physical form into the light body, which interfaces with a crystalline form. So just like water can be in many different states, it can be steam when it's boiled, it can be ice when it's frozen, it can be liquid when it's water, and there's other states of water. It's exactly the same as the consciousness. When the consciousness is in different states, the physical manifestation of the consciousness is always the same as the state of consciousness that is coming through. And that's how we move in and out of form. That's how we become liquid and solid and flow like water, and then suddenly we're like an ice cube. We bring everything back into more solid form. So these are other things that we're playing with inside of the light body to become reacquainted or refamiliarized with this magical stellar crystal stellarium in form. Okay, there's a lot going on in the body right now. It feels really amazing, feels super blissed out. And so we're coming back to some more sharings about the quantum potentials and the book covers. And so some of the book covers that show up in our field that maybe are persistent, maybe book covers of old experiences and things like that. And some of the book covers are happy book covers, and maybe some of the book covers are things that we're complete with experiencing. And so it's like what we have as a collective retired is an entire Akash on the earth plane. And a huge part of that Akash was what we just came out of, which was history. And so the history, it's kind of like the history section in the library is being closed because no one is really interested in going into the history section anymore and reading about world wars and things. So, you find if you go to, we spent a lot of time in a lot of miracles last fall recording transmissions in the public library in Victoria. Anyways, it's all sidetrack. But being in the library, there was just no one. There's this huge history section. There was just no one in there getting out books. And so we're all completing the Akash of the most recent memories on the earth in our lives, in our existence. So that whole section of the library is really, it's closed. Not closed in the sense that, it's closed as in complete, and that's a beautiful thing. It's completion, because when one door closes, another door opens to so much more. Always, always, always. That's always the way. And the opening now is this vast energetic field, because we've all been in the process of purification. It is a vast and open space of infinite potential, infinite possibility, and imagination is the key, and allowing ourselves to see our true potential. So going into some of our greatest dreams, and going into the realms of, knowing that the impossible is possible, and going into those realms to play, really asking ourselves, like, what really lights me up? Not from what I knew from 3D, but what really lights me up for play. And it is within the depths of every single being's cells to open up to our interdimensional way, our birthright as quantum beings moving in and out of time and space at will, when, where, how we choose, and creating magic and beauty to experience all the way. So when we are in our light body and we are experiencing reaching out to, these beautiful new book covers of experiences, just tapping the cover opens the whole experience up. And when we stay centered with our focus in our light body, then the experience is holistic and profound. And once again, this is our birthright, to experience, to be in full creatorship and experience the infinite potential and beauty as is the natural state of the cosmos, is perfection. And that is what we begin to experience now. So embracing our holistic integration, and also playing with our potential simultaneous. How does that sound? So as we are navigating into this beautiful new place of blissfulness, there may be navigation within the self where we can go to certain aspects, those books that we spoke of in old sections of the library, and commune with those aspects of the self lovingly, holistically, because everything in the self is primed and willing and ready to merge into the light body form. And so we may find that at times we need to just navigate an internal communion with gently with the parts of ourself that may be in resistance to the light body coming in, the light body emanation. And now we can lovingly commune intimately and navigate with those parts of the self. We might not have had access to these parts of ourselves before, when everything was layers upon layers upon layers of the human ego or the human psyche all stacked upon each other. So the navigation became very sometimes neurotic inside the self, between the mind and the emotional body. And now, as more light body comes in, we can see each facet as its own unique aspect of the greater self, the 64 codons, the 64 archetypes of the human consciousness. And so we can gently navigate each part of the self where there may be resistance or any dynamics that we experience within us that are still push-pull, or where we feel uncomfortable, or we feel tension, or we feel rigid in our bodies. Just really sitting down with all of those aspects of the self in wholeness and stillness and love, the eternal light body. Love, emanating love to all of the corners within us and into every single cell, every single self. Because that's the process of integration, is the 64 codons, the 64 strands of the two-strand DNA, and bringing everything back to wholeness and oneness, bringing everything back to love. We are the eternal creator. We are the unified one. And we are love, and all aspects of creation always respond fully to love. So in resolving any persistent patterns or miasmas within the self, we can just from neutral, from gentle, from love, from compassion for ourselves, just meet the energy inside the self, whatever the energy is, because the cells are truly percolating love. And in the purification process, anything that has been stored in layers upon layers inside of the cells, it's like overstuffed filing cabinets of experiences and the human journey that we all share, and ancestral and all that stuff. The RNA is the filing cabinet inside of the cell, and the RNA is where the file is pulled out. The RNA is what has the coordinates to activate the DNA. So in any aspect of the continual purification process, those file cabinets are being emptied out in totality. And so unexpected things might pop up, and now we can navigate them with clarity to go, this is the filing cabinet being cleared out, so that we are truly coming to a place of holistic love, cosmic consciousness. And so all the navigation can occur holistically inside of the self. All communion with all the files being cleared out. And this is supra-intelligent consciousness that is guiding us on a true path of what purification really is, what purity really is inside of the self, going into every aspect of our physical bodies and our energy field. And loving all those aspects of ourselves. No need to resist, just love the aspects of the self, because it's just like holding an overtired child that is restless and doesn't know what to do with itself. We can just hold the parts of ourself that are manifesting in our external form as a reflection for where there is just another level of stilling the pattern within the self. We're really holding the waveform in our arms. We're rocking the waveform of perception and pattern behavior to still within the self. And inside of that, we truly become a pure and purified, rarefied vessel for the light body to come into the form and remain here, unified. And there is infinite divine love and gratitude for all aspects of the 64 codon self. For all of life and all of creation.